I love when coaches, consultants, and professional service providers want to do big things in their business. They want to rise to the top and influence their market and the world around them. They want to have a greater impact and make a more lucrative income. Well, if this is you, welcome to Expert in You Podcast, the show where I interview other experts and coaches, consultants, so that they can share their success strategies with you. We're going to talk about marketing and how to close more sales, how to get more premium clients, and how to really build your visibility in the market and scale your business like a boss. If this is you, welcome to the show. I want to ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell right now so you don't miss one episode. Grab your coffee and buckle up because we are ready to give it all to you to help you become the expert and get paid as the expert that you are. Hi everyone, I want to welcome you back to another episode of Expert in You Podcast. I'm your host, Carden, and this week we are on part 3 of my 5-step method to help consultants, coaches, and professional service providers scale their business to multiple 6 and 7 figures. So each week I have been breaking down one step at a time and going into a lot more detail and a lot more depth. And this week we are going to be talking about sales. How can you win more clients and contracts? How can you really close more sales? So let's get started. Last week we talked about marketing, and I talked about how to generate leads and get great prospects and get high-end prospects coming to you. But how do you close these clients? Sales is something that a lot of times consultants and coaches don't feel really comfortable with, and it really stops them from being able to grow their business the way they would like. But I want you to know that when you do things in the way that I'm going to talk about, it actually will make the sales conversation really effortless and really easy. And you don't have to continue chasing prospects to try to get them to close. So let's talk about the very first step to your sales process, and that is your marketing. Your marketing should be doing the heavy lifting for you so that you're bringing the right prospects to you. Now, here's the other key behind this. You want to have great ways for prospects to check you out and see that you're the specialist, that you're the authority, that you're the expert, so that there's really no doubt in their mind that you're probably the person that can help them. And so this is what thought leadership content is all about. This is what getting featured in the media and being seen everywhere so that people can see that you're the authority and the specialist. This is the power of that. It basically sells you before people even book a call or decide to have a conversation with you. So giving people powerful ways to check you out and see that you really can do what you say you can do and that you really are who you say you are will really help you simplify your sales process. So when you think about a strong sales process, I want you to think about what happens before the sale, what happens during the sale, and what happens after the sale. So I want to go into all 3 of these components. So the first one is to really have powerful ways, powerful positioning, as I talked about last week, in your marketing so that you're bringing the right people to you. Now, once those people decide that they would like to get into a conversation with you, there's another step that I highly recommend that you take people through. And there's a lot of ways you can do this, but you want to have a way to qualify these people. Years and years ago, when I did not qualify clients, I ended up having to almost convince people sometimes they needed me. I would get the wrong clients coming to me. I felt like my sales conversations were harder, and you don't want to have to use pressure tactics and things like that. That's so old school. That's so outdated. People don't respond that way. Buyers are smart today, and they want to buy from people that they really know, like, and trust. And so you want your sales conversation to really be effortless. And I always say, really, it should be like having coffee with a friend. It should be that comfortable and that easy and that effortless. So When you have the right people coming to you, how are you qualifying them right now? Do you have an application process that they fill out? Do you have just a few questions that you ask to make sure that they are, in fact, someone that you would want to have a continuing conversation with or spend your time with before you just burn up time and burn up energy to get a no? The other thing that having a great qualifying process does is it really eliminates people that are just wanting to pick your brain, or they're tire kickers, or even salespeople that are trying to get to you. It can actually eliminate those people as well. So one of the things that I have and that I teach my clients to do is have a qualification or an application process where you have to fill out that application to even be able to get on a call. Now, I allow them to book the call first, and then it takes them to step 2, which is to complete the application. And the reason for that is it's really threefold. Number one, if you're asking strong and powerful questions, the right questions that you need to ask, a lot of times if someone is not the right fit, they will self-select out and they'll cancel the call. They'll realize by the questions that you ask that they're probably not ready for you, or maybe they're not willing to invest. There's all kinds of things that should be on that form that really help people establish that they really want what you have. The second thing is it allows you to be prepared. When you get on that call, you'll already know a lot about them. You'll know what they're looking for. You'll know what their needs are. And you can see before you even get on the call, is this someone that I believe I want to work with or can help? Or are they at a place in their business or in their life where my services are going to really be able to benefit them? And so it allows you to be prepared for the call, but it also allows the client to be prepared for the call. And then the other piece of this is people will either self-select out if they feel like they're not maybe the right fit for you, or they're not willing to invest, because that should be one of the questions that you have on your application process is, do you have the resources and the funds to invest in my services? And depending on that answer, a lot of times it can uncover, do you really have a qualified buyer or a qualified prospect here? Then the other piece of that is it prepares them. And I've had people get into a sales conversation with me that said, Ann, just answering your questions really made me think through what I need and what I want. And now I really do believe that you're the person that can help me. And so that was even after they checked me out and found out all about me. And so this is a really, really powerful way to only be spending your time with really hot prospects, people that really can move forward with you. So that's the before piece of marketing your business. Do you have those components in place? Are you established as a specialist, as an expert? If people Google you, what is your marketing like? What is your positioning like? Can they check you out? Do you have case studies and testimonials and ways to build that know, like, and trust? And then once they decide that they want to book a call with you or get into a conversation with you, do you have a qualifying process in place so that they can, again, fill out that form to get you prepared, prepare them, or help them even self-select out that they're not the right fit for you? Okay, so now you're in a conversation with the person. So this is during the conversation. One thing that I really recommend is that you find out why they want to accomplish what they said on their form they wanted to accomplish, or ask the right questions to go deeper into the things that they said on their form. The idea in a sales conversation is another qualifying step. And a lot of people don't really think of it this way. They think about making the sale. I look at a sales conversation as, number one, a relationship builder. Whether you buy or you don't buy, I want to build a relationship with you and a rapport with you. And so I don't want to pressure people. I don't want to make people feel icky, and you don't want to use slimy kind of tactics, right? And so I want them to feel like even if this isn't the right time, they can come back to me down the road, that I haven't burned that bridge. And so this is a really important piece when you're in a sales conversation. So I want it to be really friendly and effortless, but I also don't want it to be social. A lot of people get on sales conversations and sometimes they make them so social that they're really not, they forget what they're there for. You're not there to build a relationship that should have really done previously, but you are there to strengthen that relationship. Or if it is the first time you're talking to the person, you want to build that rapport with them and really, again, kind of validate that you are the person that you say you are and that you are the person they would want to work with. The other thing is you want to see what the dynamic is between you and the prospect. If I feel like I have to pull too hard to get my questions answered, or I feel like they're too vague, or I feel like it just doesn't, that gut instinct that maybe this just isn't a good fit, then I want to know right in the sales conversation. I don't want to start working with them and then have to let them go down the road because I realize they're not the right fit. So this is all part of the during process. So it's like another qualifying step with them. You're also going deeper into the questions that you've asked and really helping them uncover the things that they really do need and why those things are important. And really, you're really in a way helping them sell themselves in that conversation when you do this effectively. The other thing that I want to say is talk less and listen more. A lot of people make the mistake in a sales conversation of talking way too much. I want clients to ask me how they can work with me. How can I get started with you, Anne? What do you charge? Because I've listened so closely to what it is they say they need, and then I basically reframe that back to them. So if I'm hearing you right, this is what you want to accomplish, and this is why you want to accomplish it, and this is what you think you need. There are just a couple of things that I see that you need that you haven't thought of, and so that's how the conversation goes, right? So very, very friendly and not pushy, no pressure tactics. And then once you have that conversation with them and you determine that they are the right fit, again, you're allowing them to ask you to buy versus you trying to sell them. So you would say something like, so this is what I see you need. How does that sound to you? Does that sound right to you? Does that sound good to you? And they'll say yes, yes. So you want to collect those yeses. The other thing is if you're doing a proposal, if they say, well, send me a proposal, I would ask them right then and there, what would you like in that proposal? And what would that proposal do for you that we have not already discussed? What would be the purpose for me to do a proposal? Because they do take time, and I'm not opposed to doing one, but I want to make sure that I put the right things in there. And I want to make sure that is there something that I didn't talk about that you feel a proposal would help. So uncover all of those objections and those things, if there are any, right then and there. I really try to get away. I don't do proposals in my business, and I teach my clients, if at all possible, to get away from them. A proposal to me is they're ready to buy, and now you're just going to outline, this is what we're going to work on, and then the investment that will be. So that's a very different way of looking at a proposal. A lot of people look at proposals as how to sell their services. The sales should be practically made in the sales conversation. You should not try to sell through a proposal. The proposal is really, you've already got a yes from them. Yes, they want to move forward. And then maybe you want to put some options together. I tell you what, why don't I map out a few different options that might work for you, and then we can get back on another call and we can walk through those options. Can I just ask before I do that, you feel like I'm the right person that can help you, or our company is the right company that can help you? And if they say yes, then say, great, I would love to put a proposal together. The other thing you can do is ask, are you talking to anyone else? Are you looking at any other people that you might want to do business with? And can I ask you, is there something that I haven't talked about or discussed with you that you're looking for? So all of these things, again, a great sales conversation should really do the heavy work for you. And so if you can get away from proposals, get away from them altogether. But if you can't, if they really insist on one, or maybe they're not the decision maker, although that's another factor I didn't discuss, you want to try to be in the conversation with the decision maker so that you're not having having to go back and back and back and have multiple conversations when you're not being paid for that time. So you do want to kind of verify that, and that can also be done on your qualifying process before you get in a conversation with them. But once you decide that they decide, yes, I definitely want to move forward with you, what does that look like? What does that cost or that investment? Now they're giving you permission to share. And that is a very different place to come from, rather than you saying, well, I can do this for you and this for you and this for you and this for you and this for you. Would you like to buy? That is pushy, right? And that is not coming from a place of serving. That's coming from a place of selling. And what we want to do is serve in our conversations and instead of selling, and let people have the opportunity to buy from us. So a very different philosophy, a very different way of making sales. All right, so now you're through with the sales conversation. If they buy, and this is one common mistake I see people make that costs them business, I want you to realize that time kills deals. Let me say that again, because it is really important to note. Time kills deals. When I have clients or coaches and consultants that had a sale, they basically had it in the bag, and then they come back and they say the person didn't do it. Okay, well, let's look at why that happened. So one of the things is they're not really closing the deal and getting that person started immediately. That's a big factor. When someone is ready to buy, when they're motivated, when they're excited about what it is you are doing for them, get them started immediately. You need to have an onboarding process that gets them going immediately. So for me, I would say, great, this is how we're going to start. I'm going to go ahead and send you an invoice immediately to pay that first fee, and then I'm going to be putting together the agreement for you to sign, and I'll be emailing that to you, and I'll be sending you some information and some paperwork to get started on. And then I would schedule their next session before we even get off the call. So let's look at your schedule tomorrow, or let's look at your schedule in the next 2 days, and let's get you started right away, and you'll be able to fill out that paperwork, get that back to me, and then we'll have our conversation. So schedule that call. Even if you're doing a proposal, what you want to do is schedule that next call with them. Don't email proposals. I cannot stress this enough. Again, do not try to sell through email. Sales come from conversations. So don't email the proposal. If they say, well, just email it to me. Say, what I would like to do is put together a few options, and then we can get back. Let's schedule another call, and then I'll walk through those options. And that way I can answer any questions that you might have, or if there's something that I maybe don't cover or something else that you think of that you need, then we can handle that at that time. Super simple, right? So then you schedule that conversation with them, again, for maybe a day or 2 or 3 days out. I would not recommend a week. I wouldn't recommend 2 weeks. The closer you get to getting into the next conversation with them from the time that you leave them is going to close more sales. It is absolutely a fact, okay? So that's the during process. Now the after process. So I've already talked about what to do if you're going to be giving them a proposal. You want to have that next call. If you're closing them, or if they say they want to buy, what is that follow-up? I said my follow-up is I send them a PayPal invoice. I send them an agreement to sign. I get them started on some paperwork. I already have scheduled the next session. Like, all of that is just done in just a matter of a very, very short time. And what are you doing for your clients? That is, or for the people that want to buy, that's part of a follow-up process. All right. The next thing is if you're going to get back on with a proposal, then again, that's part of the follow-up process. The other thing that I would make sure before you get back on with the proposal is you make sure that all the decision makers are present. And that would be one thing that I would require, is if they have a partner or they have a coworker or they have anyone else that's going to be helping them make the decision, when you go through that proposal, you want the people there that are going to be making that decision. All right? That's all part of the follow-up process. Now, if they don't buy, what do you do? If they don't buy, you should put them into your funnel, into your email system, into your database, and you want to stay top of mind and stay in front of them. So continue to nurture them and continue to stay top of mind and share value with them until they get to a place where they are ready to buy. I've had people come back to me even after a couple of years that have followed me, they've been on my email list, they've seen my stuff, but maybe at the time they were not in a place, maybe they were just too new and didn't really know what they were doing yet, and they had to go learn how to do their skill or their craft. And so they knew by all of my marketing and everything I had out there that I work with people who already have expertise and skills and knowledge, or they already have a business, either of those. And so maybe they realize, well, I'm not ready for Ann yet. I'm getting value from her. I'm learning a lot, but I'm not ready to work with her. But then after they get their business going and now they are ready to take it to new levels, or they're ready to ramp things up, or they're ready to get better clients, now they will reach out to me because I've already established that relationship with them, and I've built my value to them, and I've stayed top of mind. And so that is a nurturing system that you also need to have in place. The other thing is not being afraid to reach back out to people and just checking in ever so often, especially if you think it's someone that could be a potential client down the road. Are you doing follow-up? The statistics show out there that people buy after 5 to 7 touches or 5 to 7 follow-ups, and most people don't do anywhere close to 5 to 7 follow-ups. They just assume because it's a no now, it's a no forever, and that's just not the case. So do you have a good after system in place for your sales process? The other thing is when you build an email list, when you build your network, when you stay top of mind, you might have other things that you come up with down the road that you may want to offer that might be a fit for them. So often you can tap your database and you can make sales right in your database. So maybe I just want to do a simple workshop on how to write proposals. I could actually tap my database, and even though they maybe weren't ready for my entire program, that piece of it could be very important for them. Or I could do a workshop or maybe a boot camp of some sort on just marketing, how to get more clients. And so they might be a buyer for that. Maybe they're not a buyer for my whole entire coaching or consulting program, but they might be a buyer for that. And so when you have that database established and you put people in there, you've got opportunities to make other sales. The other thing is, don't forget to go back to clients that you've worked with in the past and make sales to them. So if you come up with something new, or again, you're making an offer, something that might be of value to them, don't forget to go back to past clients who already love you and who've already really, they know you. Those are easier sales to make. So go back to them and see if, hey, I thought about you, I'm doing this, I thought this might be a good fit for you. Is this something you would be interested in? So don't be afraid to make sales to your database from past clients and also from prospects or from leads, if you want to call them leads. There's lots of ways that you can increase your sales and close more sales and even win more clients and contracts. One other thing that I want to talk about in the sales process is, are you giving people different options to work with you? And I actually forgot to mention this, and so I want to mention this. Are you just giving people a one and done, or are you giving them options? So, for example, I would say, well, can I ask you, do you like working with, would you want to work with a coach or a consultant privately, or do you prefer more of a mastermind or a group format with a small, intimate group of other professionals? A lot of people like working different ways, and so you want to give people different ways that they can work with you, and that will close more sales as well. The other thing is, I like to have 3 levels of service in my business. So I do have 3 levels of service. You can work with me privately long term. You can work with me privately on a project where we're just doing 1 or 2 things in your business if that's what you need. I do VIP days, or I do an 8-week or a 90-day program. And then I also have like a 12-month mastermind. So I give people different ways and different options that they can work with me. And what I really do, I don't share all of them at the time, but I do find out what is it you would resonate with you the most. And then I can share the options that I believe would be the best fit, which is typically at least 2. You can do 3 if you're a consultant and you're going into a corporation, or you're a trainer, a professional trainer, and maybe you're doing leadership development. You can give 3 separate options. Option number 1 is this, and option number 2 is this, and option number 3. And so a lot of times they'll pick the middle option. So I always say make sure that the middle option is the money you want to make. That's high, and make that lower option. Actually, your lower option should be the minimum amount of money that you would ever want to take. So there's ways to price and structure this so that again, you can close more contracts and more clients. But a lot of people go in with one and done kind of option. It's this, take it or leave it. And you may not close a sale that way, because maybe there's just something else they were thinking of, or maybe they were thinking of another amount of money. And if you just go in with one option, you might have a good chance of missing out on that sale. So if you want to win more clients, get more contracts, close more sales, increase your sales, give people a few ways to work with you, at least a minimum of 2. All right, so I hope this has been helpful. Next week, we are going to talk about scaling. Okay, how do you scale a consulting, coaching business without being overworked, without being overwhelmed? And how do you scale it to whatever levels that you want and make the income you want, not give away all of your profitability? Well, we're going to cover all of that next week. And by the way, if you haven't watched the past 2 podcasts where I went into pricing your services and how to sell your services, and I went into positioning in marketing and how to get clients and how to market yourself and all of those things. If you haven't watched those 2 previous podcasts, I really recommend that you go back and watch those, because one thing I will tell you is the more you do things in sequence with a process or a system, the better they will work. So this is actually step number 3. If you don't have the other 2 things in place, it's going to make this step a lot harder, and you're probably going to miss out on opportunities to actually make sales and close clients, and you will probably be leaving a lot of money on the table. So I would love your feedback, and if you're not subscribed to my podcast, please do so. Hit the notification so that you don't miss an episode. I release a new episode every week. And if I can help you in your business, then please reach out to me. You can go to acarden.com and book a call. And I also have a video series that you can check out here right below this video. So lots of ways that you can reach out to me or get more information or even get more value. So I'm Ann Carden again. I'll see you next week. Have an amazing rest of the week. God bless you. Bye-bye. If you've enjoyed this episode, I want to invite you to go check out a free training that I have at expertinu.us. It is a training that I have on how you can get ultra premium dream clients, scale your business, get more freedom, and really simplify your business and multiply your money. So go check that out. And again, that is expertinu.us. I want to thank you for being here with me this week. I hope you found massive value. Please always leave a comment, feedback, or a question. We check them all. And I want you to go rock your business, and make sure you join us again next week. God bless you. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.